is going on, everybody out there? Welcome to the MixedupMike Show, the only show that brings you both interviews and live DJ sets in one place. That's right, this show is one of a kind, and I am honored to have on today the one, the only, coming up from Rhode Island, Willest. What's going on, my man? How you doing?
What's going on, man?
I'm doing good, man. Thanks for coming up here. I know you got stuck in some traffic. There was an accident.
Oh, man. Really, really bad. That's why we had to delay it. I was in hours worth of traffic.
Yeah, that's why, had to go late. But, this guy actually was coming up earlier. I'm like, oh, cool. We get to hang out, have a little sesh, you know what I mean, before the show. He's sending me pictures of dead stop. I'm like, damn, man. And, of course, he's in a spot where you can't just get off, hit a back road.
Nope.
Yeah, you got the worst possible. Hopefully, whoever was in an accident is okay. And,
I didn't see any ambulances or anything. So.
Yeah, hopefully it was, just an inconvenient accident where no one got hurt, because don't want to wish that on anybody. Right. So... But, man, I'm glad you made it. You're here on the Mixed-Up-Mike Show. Thank you again for coming up. I really appreciate it. What got you into the house scene?
So the house scene specifically?
Yeah, like the first time you heard house music and, kind of ventured into it.
What really got me into house music was actually producing it.
Producing it?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah. So I was I'm a producer first.
Really?
Yeah, producer first, DJ second. Because
I didn't know that.
Yeah, I was in bands my whole life.
Nice.
So that's what I did for 15 years.
Metal band, right?
Yeah, metal bands. Guitars and drums, either or whatever. And I took that serious as fuck. You know what I mean?
Nice. Nice.
But anywho, what got me into the house scene specifically was the people I started learning from. I started learning from tech house guys.
Yep.
And once I started producing house, I would call myself more of a drummer than anything else. Yep. And once I started producing house, and I tried producing a couple genres up at that point because I didn't know what I liked, you know. I discovered there was more.
If you hear yourself on the speakers, you know you're good.
Okay. I discovered that there was more drums in house music than any more hidden drums and more hidden groove than any other. And once I started to really understand that, because I had actually tried spinning house a little bit here and there, and I could do it, but I didn't really connect with it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But once I started producing it, one or two tracks, I was like, okay, yeah, no, this is cool. And once I got a hang of the elements and everything, it just I don't know, I got addicted to it,
Yeah.
So
that's awesome, man.
Yeah.
That's awesome. One of your new tracks you just put out, Animal.
Mm-hmm.
Banger.
You like that one? It's a weird one, huh?
But it's a banger.
Yeah, it's heavy as fuck.
Yeah. Honestly, man, the tracks you've been putting out are just straight bangers.
Thanks, man.
Honestly,
Thanks.
They really are.
Thanks.
So you became a producer first before a DJ. Usually it's
the other way around.
The other way around. You know what I mean? How long you been doing that for?
I think now we're going on 4 years.
4 years producing?
Yeah, something like that. And so DJing, I've been technically DJing as long, but not really as seriously. I really tried to learn how to produce.
Yeah.
And then it wasn't until a year of doing that, and I got my controller, and then I still wasn't really up to par. I wasn't spinning the stuff I produced yet, but that's when I got a controller, and then I started doing parties, and then freaking really trying to get towards playing shows, but really because that was always the goal, because that's always what I did in metal bands.
Yeah.
I was basically just gonna try doing the same thing that I did in metal bands, but in this scene instead.
Yeah.
So that naturally means DJing. I'm not gonna not perform.
Yeah, you want to be in, being in front of that crowd is.
Yeah.
It's a great feeling.
Yeah.
Especially when you're making people happy.
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
And it's a performance instrument, and that's I would feel I'm not doing it just so I can play in front of people or so I can play it in front of people. I know some other producers are like that. I'm not some kind of crazy skilled DJ, but I like to jam and I like to vibe, and that's kind of like what I feel like the show is all about. You know what I mean? It's like so that's it. I don't know. I've probably trailed off here.
That's all right. No. Talk.
My wife told me not to ramble.
No, dude, don't worry about it, because what I created this show for was to make something that normally would not probably even be made. Like, I did some research. I looked out, I found 2 podcasts that are in the EDM scene. And they're pretty big, but all they do is talk.
Okay.
They just sit down and talk for hours about, tracks they made or events they've done and stuff like that. Well, that's cool. But you got this big-time DJ in front of you. Why ain't he doing anything but talking?
Yeah.
So I was like, you know what? I want to do something where I can open the doors and show people that are not in the house scene and expand it so people can get a look, right? An inside look to a DJ/producer, right? That, because some people look at DJs like, oh, they're just button pushes, They don't understand the hours and hours and hours and hours of practice, if it's spinning or producing. So giving people an inside look, into a DJ, what DJs do and stuff like that, and they get to see it, can inspire somebody to be like, hey, you know what? That's actually really cool. I'd like to get into that. So I'm trying to open the whole house community, the whole scene, open up to a more broader range of people. You know what I mean? Because house music, there's so many different genres. So I just say house to make it easy. It's all about love, respect. If you're at an event, you just you respect everybody. You show everybody love, and that's what it's about.
Community, bonding.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
and everyone's vibing, having fun. There's no fights or anything like that. The music's, even if it has like a dark sound, it's still an uplifting, song or a track, whatever you want to call it. People call them different things, But so I'm trying to give people that have never experienced it or just see DJs, they see them play, but they don't really know what it's all about. So that's why the show I wanted to create, because first, I thought it was cool to be able to sit down with other DJs and, just talk. You know what I mean? And give people an inside look into our world. If it's DJing or producing, the things that we do. And that's what it's about. And, my page on Facebook, the group, that's an open page for all the DJs that are on there. It's an open group. Put whatever you want on there. If you have an event, post it. You got a song, post it. You have a mix, post it. You want to network with people, put it out there. That's what my group is about on Facebook. We're just under 300 people. So, and it's an open community, so feel free to post away on there, whatever you got.
I can take steps to utilize that.
Yeah.
I like aggressively networking. So if that's, I wasn't really, like, I know you said it was an open group, but if you're trying to have people like, connect and do all kinds of shit, I mean, like, especially like, I'm always looking for people to collab with or, whatever the fuck, so yeah, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, definitely, I'm man. Definitely, and that's why I wanted it open so people could do that. You know what I mean? You meet new people and you end up hooking up, collabing, or, getting invited up and then you invite back. You know what I mean? Stuff like that. So I just wanted to make an open community where everyone could have a good time, post their new stuff that they make, if it's a track or if it's a mix or if they got a nice event, coming up that they're going to, put it up on the group. You know what I
Hell
mean?
yeah. Hell
so
yeah.
that's what the group's all about. It's for everybody. I made it for everybody. That was my thing, and I wanted that right away. Just an open group for everybody. You know what I mean? Because our community, I feel, is a special community when you look at other, different music scenes.
I agree.
Our community is kind of a more tighter knit, community than rock or country or stuff like that.
I agree. It's very specific.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. So, and what I'm trying to do with this show is open it up more to more people. So, because when people hear house music for the first time, their head starts moving, and then your body starts moving. You're like, what is this? Right?
Yep.
Right? And you're just like, what is going on? What's my body doing? What's my body doing? And you hear it for the first time and you're blown away. You're like, this is awesome, man. Fuck.
Right.
What's going on? And that's what I want. So you were in a metal band and you got into producing tracks and, also spinning. What made you want to make that jump from going from metal into producing house music and DJing?
So it wasn't an immediate transition. When my last band broke up, I was kind of falling apart, and I went through a bunch of shit, and so I wasn't in music for a while. I wasn't doing shit, and
that could be hard.
then I got sober,
Yep.
So and then I got sober, and then once I got my head screwed on a little straight, it was right around this, actually right before I got sober. It was right around the time that I started going to festivals with my wife, and that's where I really got exposed to EDM. So I got exposed to EDM, got sober, wasn't in a band anymore, and was just kind of seeing these guys doing these things, and I'm like, I could do that,
Yep.
Didn't know what it was yet. Still didn't have a clue, but I was like, I can do that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Been writing songs all my life, I was like, I could freaking figure that out.
Yeah.
So yeah, and then I just kind of decided I was going to do it. I taught myself how to play guitar. I taught myself how to play drums. So I just figured I'm going to teach myself how to produce and then teach myself how to DJ. I thought they were kind of the same thing at first. I didn't know any better.
Yeah, it's a little different.
Yeah. But no, seriously, and then man, my favorite thing to do has always been writing music.
Yep.
It's specifically the creation of it. So I have no problem writing new tunes. I've never had any problem coming up with new material, working with different people. I have practice in all of these things, a lot of practice.
Nice.
So I just needed to teach myself to get myself to a point where I could take that experience and then frickin', combine them and run off with it. You know what I mean? And that's what I eventually did.
Yeah, you can hear the some metal-ish, in some of your tracks.
Oh yeah, and and that's just the house stuff. The funny thing is, so I said that I got into house kind of secondhand, right?
Yeah.
So when I started it, when I said I was going to festivals with my wife and everything, it was dubstep that I really started getting into.
Really?
And so I started wanting to be a DJ and a producer, wanting to make dubstep. And that, when I started learning how to produce, very quickly found out was one of the most involved things to produce. So, and I still did it, but I was, I wasn't great at it at first. It was really advanced, advanced sound design, and I'm like, okay. So I tried doing a bunch of different things, and then that's when I found, the house people, and they freaking helped me out.
So dubstep is harder to produce than like a bass house track?
With the knowledge that I have now, I don't necessarily agree with that. I think that you can, what it was, I was never interested in, I wanted to make my own sounds.
Yep.
I didn't want to, I had very little interest in like dropping other people's bass samples in Ableton and, passing it off as my own. I don't knock anybody who does anything else, but it's just, I want, like first couple of dubstep tracks that I made, I didn't know how to do my own sounds. So I used patches, I used other people's patches, which is, not the same thing as using samples. And it still disappointed me.
Really?
It still disappointed me because I'm like, I wish the sound's doing all kinds of crazy shit. And I didn't make it do any of this crazy shit. I wish that I did.
Yeah. You wanted.
Yeah, that's the way I produce. I produce everything's in super duper. Everything's separated into layers. Everything I have super duper control over. So everything's really specifically EQ'd and put together
awesome.
like a puzzle.
That's awesome, man.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, I tap into it a little bit, and I tried Ableton, and honestly, I was just lost.
Yeah, that's what I use, Ableton.
And I just got on the trial thing. Check it out. I messed around with it a little bit, and then I ended up getting a little Anki Mini 3, and it came with its own software. So I was like, hey, you can't beat that. You know what I mean? So $100, I got a controller and free software, and it came with a bunch of different packs, so you can like do different things.
Yeah,
like different synthesizers and stuff like that. I still don't really know how to use it all. I should.
Neither do I. Neither do I. If that makes you feel any better, like Ableton is so vast.
It's crazy how big it is.
It's not about. It's not about. If you want to be successful, it's not about trying to learn it all. It's about having specific goals, and then using Ableton as a tool to meet those goals, even if you don't know how to do that yet. So like if you're gonna teach yourself, right? So like you'd be like, all right, it's not just I want to sit down and learn Ableton, or even I want to make house music. You have to get more specific than that, Be like, I want to make a track that sounds like this, Start there, because you don't know any better, I want to make a track that sounds like this, right? You look up some tutorials, you get yourself there.
Yep.
You know what? The first thing I did when I what really so like you said with you have Ableton, the trial and everything, and so like my first experience with Ableton was downloading 9, and I had a cracked version of 9, and that was what I was messing around on, and that's what I had for like a year. I didn't call myself a producer then, but that's what I had like for a year, kind of like messing around with, doing that kind of thing.
Yep.
And I really just was not making it just was not it was just not, it wasn't I wasn't improving. I wasn't, it didn't sound professional. I had nobody telling me how to sound it just wasn't, it wasn't good enough.
Yeah.
So what I did was I found a course, and it was just like some random free course. Okay. And it was just a track start to finish, and it was on like an Ableton website. It was an official course somewhere, right?
Nice.
And it was a dubstep producer that I hadn't heard of, but I looked up, and his very, very diesel and very well known, right? I can't remember his freaking name now. Maybe it'll pop in my head. But so he produced a track start to finish, and it was like a 9-hour course that he divided into like sections, and it was an intermediate course, and it was a dubstep track. Design of the sounds and everything.
Nice.
So,
you find that on YouTube, or was it actual course you sign up to?
Yeah, it was like a free I think it might even been through Cymatics or something forever ago. But yeah, it was just like here's a full free course. It was like to entice you to buy more of theirs or something, right? But anyway, so it was just this one intermediate course, and I was very much a beginner, and I'm like, I'm just gonna do this. I'm just gonna do this. I downloaded all the plugins I needed that he had in that freaking thing, and I just did it. And I'll tell you, he moved so fast. I had to stop about every 5 seconds because I didn't understand what he was doing, and I'd have to freaking look into it. You know, I'd have to do it over and over again, mess with whatever new thing that he freaking, you know what I mean? Like, mess with it a bunch. That 9-hour course took me months to get through.
Wow.
So, but, like, I finished the track at the end of that, and that got me started, like, really knowing how to, like, you know, make drums that sound just dumb shit, because, like, Ableton is not just for freaking EDM. You know, so you could
make anything.
Yeah, so you could fall into a real quick trap. You'd be like, oh, so I'm just going to go on to Ableton and produce EDM. It's like, okay, well, what's the difference between a rock drum and an EDM kick drum? You know, go look for it and show me. You know what I mean? It's like, oh shit. Yeah. So you find a kick drum, you put it in there, and it's like, yo, you're rocking out to it, right? And you're all like in the moment, and you're listening in your headphones. You think it sounds cool, right? And then you listen to it on something else, or you hear it against something professional, and you're like, oh, you know, like, man.
That happened to me with that one track I made, that techno track, Let's Go. It sounded great, you know, in my headphones and, you know, everything. And I put it out, and it wasn't that bad. And, you know, very well-known DJ. I'm not going to say his name. Just, you know, I sent it to him. He produces a lot. And I was like, hey, man, you know, what do you think, this and that? And, you know, he was like, hey, for your first track, you did great. But there's no bass. So,
yeah.
But I couldn't.
You need hardcore feedback like that to improve.
You know what I mean? And that's why I sent it to him, because I know he would tell me, you know, honestly, hey, this and this and this. And even when I make a mix, I'll send it to him and be like, hey, how does this sound? You know what I mean? Like, because I like to get that kind of feedback, you know, before I actually put something out there. You know what I mean? But, you know, I was just so excited making that track. I just kind of put it out there instead of doing that first. But usually with my mixes, I'll send it to, like, him and be like, hey, you know, what do you think about this? You know, because he'll tell me levels, you know, all that stuff.
Yeah, that's
so. Yeah. When he comes back and says, "Yo, man, you did great," I know it's good. You know what I mean? I know, like, okay, send it. So, I got mad respect for him. I guarantee you know who he is.
Yeah, probably.
So I got lost for a second.
No, you're fine.
So yeah, your latest track. Animal.
Yes.
Talk about that, because that's a banger.
Yeah.
And it's definitely got a very unique sound.
Yeah. So okay. So if I'm going to talk about Animal here, so I wrote that for a Sanctuary show. No, not a Sanctuary show. That was right. That was actually my first Free Street show. It was a Batman themed Halloween show. Okay.
Nice.
And Animal starts off with a sample from Batman Returns, from the not the Joker, the Penguin, right? So that's what the vocals are. The vocals are only the Penguin, and so that's really what I started the track with, you know. So I started the track with him, and then I picked out from his speech, you know, I am not a human being. You know, I am an animal.
Yep.
And I was like, that's fucking metal. You know, I was like, that's cool. So I usually don't start with vocals, so I started with that, and then I'm like, okay, so you know, then I started piecing together my melody, and then some of the sounds that I had picked for my melody, because you know, one of the styles I'll do with melody is a lot of like I'll build a melody from start to finish with several instruments doing various layers of call and response, you know? So like, and then build that from there. So the first couple of sounds that I was doing ended up sounding kind of like, I think one of them gave me like a bird kind of like a bird penguin-y kind of fucking, and I was like, okay, all right, cool. With penguin, I'm like, I'm not a human being, I'm not an animal. I'm like, okay. So we're just going to go like, we're going to lean into that, you know?
Yeah.
Because I'm a big believer in once your track has a vibe, you gotta fucking lean into that shit maximum, and so then for the drop, I've been really, really, really pushing my bass house in the direction of UK bassline. And the reason I'm doing that is, I told you I make dubstep too, right?
Yeah.
And the dubstep I mix directly with metal. Like I put metal sections in, like entire metal sections, and like I wanted to start off like making 50-50. You know what I mean? Because all the metal step tracks that I heard, I'm like, what the fuck is that? It's some like lazy metal riff, like you know what I mean? Like I play with freaking people, you know what I mean? I'm like, we could do better than that, Like let's have good metal and good dubstep. But
you can put those two together.
Yeah,
good,
yeah. But I found very, 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 very quickly that house does not work very well with metal. And I mean, there's instances, but like you can't layer a house drop over a metal song.
No.
In any fashion, it just doesn't sound good. So UK bassline, these basses are aggressive and like solid bass lines very often kind of in a tech house kind of feel. So they have, and I make a lot of like, I learned from tech house guys, but I wanted to do dubstep. So since I learned how to make tech house, I started going towards bass house, because I quickly saw dubstep sound design in house music, bass house, So
I love bass house.
Yeah. So like, that's been my goal. And so as my bass house has been evolving, UK bassline, just like giving it that kind of those aggressive synths, you know, and like, oh man, there's just all kinds of shit I can do with that. Plus, like I make aggressive sounding basses in dubstep already. So like I already know what to do, So
that's awesome.
So I gave it that kind of line, and then added some like multi layers to the basses to fill it in for movement. So if you'll listen to the individual basses, you'll hear like sounds follow after the main sound, kind of like double hits and shit.
Yep.
So there's some really cool sound design going on there. That's how that all came together.
That's awesome.
There's some drums on that bitch. Gave it the polish, all the fixins, the FX, and your.
It's awesome
your bits.
though that I mean, that movie's. It's old now.
Yeah. Right.
I'm old.
Yeah. Oh.
I'm old. I mean, when that kind of stuff, when I see how long ago then those movies came out, I'm just like, damn, I'm old.
Yeah, like, I watched that movie when I was a kid. Like I was a kid. I was obsessed with that, and I was like, that's why I was like, oh man.
When I heard it and I heard that, I was like, oh shit.
Word. Yeah.
That's the Penguin, man.
Yeah. All my metal friends that I showed were like, ah.
That's awesome. So, you just got into, now you're throwing your own events.
Yeah.
So how's that working out?
So as far as a DJ, I played metal all over the East Coast, but especially in Rhode Island because my band was from Rhode Island. So I played in, and I'll tell you what, there is, as far as like venue genre crossover, there's a shit ton of crossover with metal and EDM venues.
Yeah.
Like if you find a metal venue nowadays, chances are they also throw EDM shows at some point. You know what I mean? It's just a vibe I notice overlaps quite a bit.
Huh.
But at any rate, like really like scene mechanics, networking, it's all the same shit. Essentially, it's not that different. You know what I mean? So I at first was just when I started trying to get gigs, I had to utilize whatever connections I had, which wasn't much. And I wasn't necessarily able to get gigs in my own state. And like nothing panned out, and like all the old connections that I used just didn't pan out at all.
Yeah.
And I'm like, okay, like whatever. So I the people that I ended up getting fixed up with, well, first of all, one of the reasons I got into this also was my wife's friend he was in this scene. That's how how I got plugged into all this, into meeting all you guys and being up here in Maine, like with the EDM scene up here. He booked a festival and he booked me on it, and I wasn't. That's why I looked up that course and I started learning how to DJ hardcore, because he gave me a deadline, basically. Because he knew my background too, and he was like, "Okay, so I put you on." I was like, "Okay, so I got a year to get up to par, huh? Okay, sick." So that's But then COVID happened, and that thing just never happened, right? But because of the group chats and all that shit that I was a part of for the DJ chats, I tried utilizing. That's the first set of connections I started leveraging for shows. Anyway. Just for shows, right? And so outside of parties, my first show, actually I played Project Sign, was like the first not party I did. So I did Project Sign podcast. But then the first show I did was actually Freedom Fest, and that was at Rocky Mountain Terrain Park, hosted by Rhythm Alliance, Jason Costello and all them. So and who were all a part
Dark Side.
So they were all a part of that original group, right? Yep. So then I met up with all these guys, DJ'd, and I've just started, once I knew some people, that's all I needed to do, right? I knew what to do from there. Once I knew, and then once I got my foot in, then I'm like, okay, now I got to start showing up, helping out, being the guy that people can rely on, which I've found out very quickly in the scene was not hard to do, especially sober, right? That's why I was I'm like, oh, okay. Well, now that I'm like responsible and shit, like, it's not this, it's like it's not that bad. It's like I'm 10 minutes late and I'm still the first one. At the time. Right. But yeah. So So I started getting I forget the original question. You we were talking about getting shows. Right?
That you're throwing your own shows now.
Throwing my own shows. So I started getting so I started playing shows. So I started. It was at Freedom Fest that Chris and Vanessa from Sanctuary, DJ Fiend and Black Widow.
Yep.
They me and my wife were actually vending at that festival too. Me and my wife have a little music festival cafe.
Nice.
That we vend, which all started at the same kind of time as all this, and we figured would cross network, right? So I've been trying to get gigs and then trying to leverage those connections also, which has worked out pretty well. So we were vending Freedom Fest also. We were the only vendors. So we vended and I played, and then so Chris and Vanessa saw us do that. And they were like, "Oh, that's cool. So we're doing our first festival, Glow Hard, and this cafe thing is pretty cool. You got right? You guys want to come vend at Glow Hard?" So that's what we did. We went and vended at Glow Hard, at the first Glow Hard, and again, now I'm hanging around these guys, right? And these are like this is cross overlap from like the Rhythm Alliance guys, and the guys from Sanctuary kind of gave me a shot, and when nobody else would. And that's kind of like, I was really, still am really grateful for that,
That's awesome, man.
I have, I still am having trouble getting gigs in my own state, So like,
I feel you, man.
So this is how this came across, I just kept playing more and more shows with Sanctuary, more and more shows. And now I'm seeing how, like, because, I was in metal bands. I did metal shows. But I did not necessarily host metal shows.
Yeah.
Okay? So because I was with Sanctuary and they were throwing all their own shows, all these shows I was playing, like, we were putting on. So I got to see how all this shit set up. I got to see the festival from concept to, to end result.
Yep.
Concept to pictures at the end of it. You know what I mean? To everybody driving home and
start to finish.
Yeah, and like several times over, and like I got vending all over the place, playing as many gigs as I can, and then I've just kind of felt like I've been putting out feelers. I'm like, all right, well, I feel like I know enough now. I know enough fucking people. I've gotten the word out about my music enough now. You know, and then I have my old fan base too. Anybody that's known me my whole life, you know, will come out to a show.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I'm like, okay, so I started looking around. I'm like, I can't find anybody that'll book me for some reason. You know, it's these Rhode Island places are just tough to get into. You know, they're all little circles, and everything in Rhode Island is small, including the circles, and they're all really insular. You know, I'm not going to name any DJ groups, but it's just tough. You know, because I've been asking, but all the same, I'm not the kind of person that waits around for somebody else to do something for me. You know, I taught myself all this shit. What am I gonna wait on somebody else for? No, you know what I mean? Like, especially if I've seen it all, I'm like, I can just do this fucking shit myself. You know, so I've been putting out feelers, and just so somebody on one of my Facebook posts told me that there is a new club opening in Pawtucket that a lot of the same people that I know all up and down the scene all know her. And just opened, and it's small, and I reached out to her, and she agreed to have me host my first show. So
nice.
That's how this is my first show that I'm doing. It's next Saturday.
Nice. Congratulations, man.
Thank you.
Congratulations. Dude, I hear you. You know what I mean? Like, getting booked at places, you know, I've had a few people say to me, like, how do you do your show and not get booked anywhere? I'm like, I don't know. It's just the way it is, I guess. I said, so, you know, I'm with Soul Speed. I said, but I want to do more. Mm-hmm. You know, I feel like I can do more. Mm-hmm. I ended up playing up at Spring Point, talked to Meech. And
yeah, Meech is cool. I like Meech.
Ended up throwing my first show. And now I have my second show I'm throwing this month on the 16th, Jingle My Beats. So if you're in South Portland, anybody, come by Spring Point Tavern for Jingle My Beats. Myself, Pharaoh, Sisselpud, and Buddy Loves will be on the decks. And from 8 to 9, it's open deck. So if you want to drop some beats, hey, come by early and you'll be able to spin.
Hell yeah.
So, you know, hoping that is going to keep going for like a every other month thing. Yeah. You know, fingers crossed it stays.
I made it very clear from the get-go. I'm like, I'm looking to do a regular thing. So if this works out, you're down for that? And so I hear you.
Yeah. You know, and I still, like, I'm constantly looking, you know, because I want to grow. I want to create something. You know what I mean? Like,
I feel you. Yeah.
So I think me and you, we understand exactly what we're talking about.
Yeah, dude. I mean, like, I guess, I mean, I don't know. Maybe it's my attitude just because, like, making this shit and then, like, you know, doing this, making this shit, like, making the music, making the shows, like, let's fuck, you know.
Yeah, let's go. Let's do this.
Let's fucking go, man. Yeah. That's what I'm like.
You know, and I've been going to shows for I started back in 96. So, like, you know, the rave days back then, seeing how those were thrown. And that's what I would like to get more back into, but you gotta find the right place, you know. You gotta find the right place for that, to have that kind of underground feel. You know, which it's really hard nowadays, unless you can get some, you know, private place or something like that, you know. But I'm still looking because I want to make it happen.
So the place that I'm playing at is refurbished out of an old historic industrial mill building.
Nice.
So it's all brick and all high ceiling, and it's got kind of a warehousey vibe.
Nice.
So I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, because, you know, 1 o'clock comes and it's like shut down. You guys go to 2, right, in Rhode Island?
No. No. It's 2 in the summer. I think it's like 1:30 or 2. But I think it's 1 o'clock.
Yeah. See, some I know like Boston, they go to 2. Like,
Yes.
it depends on the city,
Yeah.
I think, right?
That's the thing. Is like you can get away with some stuff in Providence if you have special licenses and shit. So
Yeah.
there are places in Providence you can get away with it.
Yeah. That's cool, man, that, we've gone from that. So, you're definitely on this path of growing, and that's awesome, man. I'm happy for you.
Thank you.
So,
Happy for you too.
thank you. What kind of advice could you give, a young, inspiring DJ or, producer?
I won't speak to the DJ thing. I'll speak to the producer thing.
All right.
Because I just feel like that's fair. I spend most of my time producing.
And I'm definitely going to listen to this.
One bit of advice. Ooh. I don't know, but one piece of advice.
What?
Or like small bit of advice,
small
condensed advice.
Yeah.
I know what you mean. I know it's still taller. Besides hang in there, like it's you have to be aggressive. You have to be aggressive, and you have to be aggressive, and you can't take any bullshit from anybody, and you can't take any bullshit from yourself. You know what I mean? You can't, and it's real. The latter part of that is responsible for quite a bit of shit.
Yep.
Because you know how many good producers there are that nobody's ever heard of?
Probably quite a bit.
So even just being good in the production studio is like just a small, you know what I mean? You could be a good DJ too and have no people skills and so therefore not get booked. Yep. You know what I mean? It's a whole, So you have to be aggressive with the production, because you're gonna have to learn. Let me tell you this, right? I got a good whole piece of advice. You know what changed the tide for me? Get a community. So the Tech House guys, right? Those were the guys at No Face Records. I started learning from those guys, and that's what really made me understand that. The leader of that label is Max Vangeli. He's a well-known staple in the EDM scene, especially the house scene.
Nice.
I listen to him. I listen to him, and I listen to all the guys that also learn and listen to him because he learns the way he is too. Is he learns from us too? You know what I mean? It's a very like everybody. It feels like a big team. That we're all learning from one another.
Yeah.
And all elevating together. So that's and there's a lot of that now. There wasn't even so much of that a couple of years ago, or around the time that I found them. But it's becoming even more popular now. So the reason for that is, it's okay. You talk about feedback, how valuable that feedback is, right?
Same thing,
right? So you're gonna learn, right? You're gonna learn. You're gonna get to a point, right? You're gonna learn, and you're gonna get to that point where you're not an amateur anymore, okay? But that doesn't mean you're a professional.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And
You're just
it's a
you know how the system works and stuff, but it doesn't mean you know how to make a track.
Yeah, you know what I mean? It's and then you have to here's another thing. Communities and goals.
Yep.
Set goals and accomplish those goals.
Set small goals.
Because
don't put a goal of, something huge right away.
Because you want to know what?
Set realistic goals.
Because you set those realistic goals and you accomplish those realistic goals, okay? And then you know what happens? There's so many little realistic goals in production that accomplishing those goals becomes a habit, right? That's one thing I learned a lot from these guys is utilize learning books. I was reading Atomic Habits and all kinds of shit, really trying to psychologically freaking get myself into this production mode. I'm telling you got to be aggressive, man.
Yep.
You gotta put time into it. You can't be like, oh, I'm gonna go produce and I'm a producer, I'm gonna go do it for now. No, you have to have a schedule. You have to be doing it every day. You have to be on a routine, because if that's what you want to do, that's what I wanted to do. I wanted to see how far I could take this. Right? So that was what, when I saw the guys from No Face, I'm like, okay, so this gives me an opportunity to surround myself. This is another thing I say, community, but also with community. I surrounded myself with people that were better than me. That's something that not everybody can do because of vulnerability. And I'll tell you what, it's tough. It's tough. I've been making music all my life, and it's tough. It's still tough. Okay? I talk with people, and if I get negative feedback, I'm not always like nice about it, but it's just the name of the game. Other people aren't nice necessarily about feedback when I give it to them. It's just you have to be honest, because you're not doing anybody any services by giving them freaking sugar-coated feedback. No services at all.
If you just be like, oh yeah, it's
cool, man.
Great.
If you're trying to elevate yourself and you show somebody a track and they're like, oh cool, you're like, yeah, but like I know it's not like like so like. Okay, thanks. Like,
I hear.
So surrounding myself with people that were better than me,
Yep.
community, being aggressive,
Yeah, you have to be aggressive because, there's so much. You have to learn so much, and, it takes time. Nobody's going to just jump on, decks or, open up Ableton and be like, yep, I got this. No, they're going to get smacked down to reality real quick and be like, shit, I don't know nothing.
So I'll tell you, like...
But like you said, put those goals down. Small, realistic goals. Because when you hit those goals, too, it gets you going. Because in your mind, you hit that goal, you hit that achievement, and your brain starts...
Dopamine,
and starts naturally pushing you to that, and then it becomes that habit forming. So, I mean, that definitely is a great piece of advice. You know what I mean? And putting yourself around in a community of people of producers, especially if they're better than you, so you can go learn. And if you're starting off, or even if you've been doing it for a little bit.
Yeah, I tell you.
If you want to be successful, you have to hang around successful people.
Around that community, there's producers that have been producing for all mannerisms of times. There's it, and and they're a record label too. So like that's the thing. So it's like we're all like helping each other do tracks, and if Max likes something for the label, he'll put it on the label.
Nice.
So freaking but so if he doesn't,
so are you with them on the label?
Yeah, so I have 2 tracks on that label.
Nice, man.
And that was not an immediate feat. Let me tell you, yeah. So like that's what I mean, like aggressive and like really breaking yourself down. Like if you want to get better, you know what I mean? Like so like in this community, I'm not a very social person, you know what I mean? So like, I'm working with people, but like really, I stuck with this one guy, who joined around the same. He like got with these guys around the same time, and we started just like collabing like crazy, and like learning from each other, because we were about the same level and everything. And he was using my experience, and I was using his experience, and he was a house guy. So this is house collab after house collab. So the first track I got signed by No Face was the track Fuego, which actually came out second. But it was the first one I got signed, and it was a collab with that kid.
Nice.
Who's he's a producer from L.A. And that was our 8th collab. So, I mean, it was like, I was like, oh, cool idea. Try again. Yep. Oh, cool idea. Try again. Oh, cool idea. Try, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like it's yeah.
But it gets you going.
Keep doing it, because you know what? I'll tell you what, to keep doing it becomes a habit too.
Yeah.
Now there's times where like when I don't have the motivation, I still get shit done. It's annoying sometimes.
Yeah, you have to sit down. You're like, oh shit.
Yeah.
But I got to do it. But once you get into it, and
you do a track, and I'm like, okay, I got something going on. All right.
So what's been the craziest party you've been to? If you performed at, now this can go back into metal days, so there's no like cap on it or anything. or you have attended. Craziest party you've ever been to without incriminating yourself. What would it be? So far, the pants off parties.
Okay. Does it have to be limited to EDM?
No, it could be like
Just
I said.
party.
Just it could be in your metal, during your band, any of that. Any party you've been to or performed at, doesn't matter what. Craziest one, but without incriminating yourself.
Without incriminating myself.
Yeah.
Want to hear a story that I tell people a lot?
Let's hear it. You guys want to hear it out there? I'm sure you do.
Yeah, you guys are gonna think I'm crazy because everybody thinks I'm crazy when they hear this. Okay, so I have my lip pierced. If I don't have anything in it right now, and I was at a party. I was at a party downstairs with a bunch of my friends. When I was like 18, 19, something like that, and we were tripped out, messed up on some weird shit, and like wildin',
Yeah.
wildin', and I have a hobby. I used to have more of a hobby of making using a diamond tip Dremel to carve like pipes and pieces out of like liquor bottles and stuff.
Yeah.
Right. Especially I used to be a drinker, so and they knew that, like some of the guys, right? And then this my friend who's dead now, rest his soul.
Sorry about that.
He knew that about the diamond tip Dremel thing, and he was like, "Yo, Will, come here and pierce my nipples." And we were all like, "Fuck yeah!" Right? But like, okay, like you don't know me, dude. Like you start daring me to do shit, bro. Like,
Yeah.
you think I won't? Fuck, I was all fucked up too. Like, so he was like, we came up and it'll cauterize the wound as it's going in. This is our our rationale.
Theory.
Yeah.
Right.
And it's a sound theory. Turns out it's a sound theory, right? So I go and get my Dremel, and I pierce both this kid's nipples with the fucking thing, right? Yeah. Oh yeah. Okay. And then
What happened to
They
his
were-
nipples?
they were fine.
Really?
He fucking had rings in them. One of them was slightly crooked, but like it worked.
It worked?
Yeah. I had my nipples pierced already, so I already had that experience.
Yeah.
Yeah, it worked. So I just knew I had to go, a little behind it. But so I did that, and then everybody's like, yo, but you doing that? And it was like, oh, that's badass. And I forget how this fucking came across, but then somebody's like, wanted to fucking be like, oh yeah, but you won't do that to yourself. Now I told you, don't start daring me to do shit.
Yeah. And that's when it.
So yeah, I pierced my own lip with a diamond tip Dremel, and I still have a picture someplace. That's old ass picture of just me with my shirt off, looking down, covered in my own blood, and it cauterized it, so it's probably the most permanent piercing I have. But again, slightly crooked, but I did halfway decent job. Believe it or not.
Holy shit.
Yeah.
That's definitely I would say a wild party.
Yeah.
Jeez, man.
Oh yeah.
That's awesome.
Piercing party.
So good thing they didn't fucking dare you to pierce your balls or something.
Yeah.
Hey, pierce your balls.
I think they might have asked. I think I was like, freaking no, I'll do my lip.
I won't.
Yeah.
Look at this. I ain't doing that.
Yeah. Yeah. All I need is freaking, yeah.
So what do you think, man? You think you're ready to drop some beats?
I'm always ready to drop beats.
I know.
It's
you're
always
ready.
just going constantly. Going constantly.
You guys ready to hear some beats or what?
Yeah, man. I'm gonna
think they
do
might be
some
ready.
original stuff. I'm gonna mix it with some bangers, in and out.
Drop some of your own tracks in.
Oh yeah,
Nice.
that's the way I've been doing it. Right now, I mean, I got a lot of tracks, but I like keeping it flavor. You know what I mean? I like doing different kinds of styles, and I don't like just doing all my own stuff just yet. But I don't know. But yeah, so that's what we're gonna do.
Man,
That's what we're gonna do.
You're a great DJ, man.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
You know how you spin. You don't stick to just one thing. You like to mix it up, and that's what one of the things I like about you and your mixing style is that you do mix it up. You don't stick to just one thing, and it's always just one thing.
Like it's much the attitude I have in producing. Like I was when I wrote metal, I did death metal, and like I was shoving many riffs in a song. I'm constantly changing. This is the vibe that I'm used to. So all one thing has been tough for me to get used to.
Yeah.
So you'll notice in my producing, I'm always trying to stick another genre in there. I'm always sticking a trap section in another freaking section, and that's the way I feel about my DJ sets too. Got to vary it.
Yeah, you break it up.
I mean, shit. Even just having like tracks that have those trap sections that are the same BPM, just putting those in a set gives it a flavor automatically.
Yep.
I think so.
Throwing a break in there.
I couldn't get an answer from DJs about like freaking if this was like the thing to do. So that's just how I do it.
I honestly like DJing nowadays it's on a whole different level because of the technology.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So, it used to be just took you a minute to find where your beat needed, and before all the digital stuff, and then you would have to, blend it and stuff like that. But today, I mean, you can know where your BPM is right away. You can drop mix, literally just drop a track in, and you can do so much.
Mm-hmm.
So there's almost like no limit now, and
That's why I like it.
it's like there's no more rules for DJing.
Yeah.
Because, and for me, that's how I look at it.
Yeah.
Like
I agree.
I don't want to DJ like nobody else. I want to DJ the way I DJ, and that's it. Play what I play, and that's it.
I mean, anything else is not being true to yourself.
Exactly. I like to get in and out, in and out.
Mm-hmm.
I'll even come back. You'd be like, what? Didn't you just... I never left, buddy. But let's go. Let's drop some beats. Let's get these people pumped up. Friggin' doing the friggin'
all the moves.
Jersey Shore fucking bump fisting. And
let's do it.
Let's do it. Let's go. Let's get to this stage. Let's see where this stage is. Much love, everyone out there. How's everyone doing? You ready for some music? Let's go. Boom. Is
know the way this goes. And I'm better off alone. Take another hour phone, 'cause I already know the way this goes. I know another hour phone. I already know the way this goes.
step back. Let me take a step back. Let me take a step. Let me take a step back. Let me take a step back.
With man cop. Please drop.
come back for me after all. Now there's a war in my head, daydreaming that I could hate you instead. But I wanna go back and live it all, losing it all, setting myself up. That's why I can't take none of your help, 'cause I gotta be the one to save myself. They know better, baby. You make me somebody else. I just wanna be myself. That's why I can't take none of your help. Wanna be myself. Gotta be the one to save myself. Wanna be myself. Wanna be myself. That's why I can't take wanna be myself. Wanna take your holes in my heart, baby, kind of remedy. Wanna take your
Yo, give it up for Willest, everyone. Let's go. Let me see them emotes. Blow the screen up.
flashlight in my eyes. And I wish we could be friends.
Want to say hi?
Hi! I wanna go back and live life, losing it all, setting myself up. That's why I can't take none of your help, 'cause I gotta be the one that save myself. Gotta be the one that you know better, you know, baby. You make me somebody else. I just wanna be myself. Wanna be myself. Holes in my heart. Wanna be myself. Wanna be myself. Wanna be myself. Holes in my heart.
Here's Odin. You want to say hi? No, you're going to be quiet. You're going to be quiet, buddy?
Wanna take your holes in my heart.
Yo. Thank you, everyone out there, for joining the stream. Much love to everybody. And I want to give a special thanks to my man, Willest. Thank you for coming up, man. I really appreciate it. And we got Odin. People know about Odin and Kylie. So what's up, man? You got some things coming up, don't you?
Yes, I do.
What do you got?
So right now, I think all right. So my show
Yep.
is next Saturday.
Okay.
So it's December 10th at Remedy in Pawtucket, Rhode Island.
Nice.
I believe it's 171 Coyle Ave. For all the Rhode Island people, yes, it's close.
It's in Rhode Island.
It's in Rhode Island.
Just
And then, so that's going to be a good time. Please, anybody that can come down, please come down, because the better it is a success, the more likely I'm going to keep doing it.
Nice.
You know? And that's just what, like, you know, I just want to keep doing it. I want to
Nice.
spread the vibes. And then after that, in a couple of months, I'm playing Winter Wake Up.
oh,
Yeah, the freaking is
Yeah, the hotel.
the hotel party in
in
February.
Sturbridge, right?
Yeah, Sturbridge. Yeah, so we're doing the hotel party.
Nice.
I think all the sanctuary cats are freaking gonna be there.
Yeah, it's gonna be a big party, man. And
Yeah, it's gonna be cool.
that's one I wish I could go to, but just can't do it.
Yeah, it's just, I mean, it's yeah,
You know.
yeah.
But
got
yeah,
it.
man, that's awesome.
Yeah, it's just-
That's gonna be a good time. You
It's gonna
know,
be a good time.
a hotel party, and you know, you get your own room and stuff like that. That's
Yeah.
definitely an event that's memories forever.
Yeah, dude, like freaking yeah.
That's
Yeah,
awesome.
It's gonna be cool.
That's awesome. And not next week, but the following weekend, the 16th and 17th, we got two good shows going on for you. First, we got Jingle My Beats, December 16th at Spring Point Tavern in South Portland. Be myself, Pharaoh, Sisselpud, and Buddy Loves will be getting down on the decks. From 8 to 9 is open decks. So if you want to drop some beats, come on down to Spring Point Tavern early. Make sure you get there early because I know a couple people that are saying, oh, I want to come there and drop some beats. So got it. First come, first serve, man. And then
Show up.
Yep, show up. Got to show up. You don't show up, then I don't know what to tell you. But after that, then we're going to get down, and I'll probably drop a couple Christmas carols during the set. I got some remixes that keep the groove going, if you know what I mean.
Ho, ho, ho.
Ho, ho, hoing down the hose.
Christmas.
Merry Christmas.
What?
No, you're not going to say it?
Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas. And then the following day, December 17th, we have an all-nighter for you. That's right. In Lebanon, it is Santa Stole My Birthday. It's Shogun and Sisselpud's birthday. It's like 2 days before, 2 days after. And they're going to have a 2-hour back-to-back set. This thing goes from like 8 p.m. to 5 a.m. That's right. Santa Stole My Birthday. You can find it on Facebook. So, I don't know, man. There's not a lot of places out there where you can go till 5 a.m. This is going to be great. I mean, we got Pharaoh, Sisselpud, Buddy Love's going to be spinning there, Deja, Cranium, myself. Like I said, Shogun, I believe SP1. Hope I might be missing somebody. If I am, I'm sorry if I missed you. But I want to thank everybody in the chat. Thank you for coming in. Even if you just came in to say hi, I appreciate it because, your time is valuable. So if you just come in for 5 minutes or a minute or hang out for the whole thing, I appreciate it. I really do. It means a lot. And hopefully I get this last thing I need to get situated with certain words where it doesn't create problems where I have to click yes, okay it, and just where it goes. And then it'll be smooth. So that'll be for next week. And next week on the MixedupMike Show, it's going to be Saturday at 2 p.m. with Huge. That's right. Huge is coming up from Rhode Island. Another Rhode Island DJ. Man, this guy's been really, really making moves. Funky communication. I mean, he's got a 24-hour station on Twitch where you can listen to music constantly, or you can just go to funkycommunication.com and listen there also. And he's got 2 different places he throws gigs at. So this guy's a busy guy. He's DJ, and he plays some funky house, man. And he really is really on another level. I mean, he's definitely an OG. He is an OG. He is an OG fact. And I can't wait to have him on. It's going to be an awesome show, just like today was an awesome show. MixedupMike Show tries to bring you something different, something unique that no one else is going to bring you, because I don't want to be like everybody else. I want to be different. And that's what makes this show the MixedupMike Show.
Be yourself.
No, you don't want to be yourself. You want to be yourself, not like everybody else.
I know. That's what I said. You want to be yourself.
That's right.
And I'm coming to your show to DJ.
Ow.
Sorry.
Just like scratched my nose. Okay. All right. Much love, everybody. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. Thank you to Willest again. Thank you to everybody. Grits, I seen you come in. Can't wait. You and Spunyon. Oh, man, that's going to be sick. You guys back to back. That's going to be an intense show.
They're intense back.
Yeah.
They're intense.
I can't wait for that. That's going to be something else. So that's going to be not next week, the following week on a Sunday, back to back. Grits and Spunyon. Oh, yeah, baby. So until next time, we're out. Much love. We're out. Peace.
I'm coming to your show.
Can you start that track? There we go.
I'm going. come back for me.